33.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
How do you spell disappointment? Jets, Jets. Woo!
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
You want to know what was really disappointing? I obviously announced to you all that I've started my grilling venture, my journey as a grill master, since the past couple of weeks. On my birthday, I was told I'm not allowed to mention that my birthday was a week and a half ago or so before. But yeah, started my grilling adventures. And last night, for the first time, C-Cat,
what?
I tried out some sliders, and they weren't sliding. It was my first failure on the Traeger.
Just small burgers. How hard could it be?
See, that was the problem. So everything else I've done before were always a little bit more intricate, like chicken kebabs. I nailed that, right? Obviously, it's hard to mess up like hot dogs or sausage dogs. Did some chicken thighs. Everything else have went perfectly fine. Some shrimp skewers. But last night, we fired up the Traeger grill, and I decided I was going to give it a shot at some burgers, some little sliders, and I didn't do a lot of prep. I didn't do a lot of research beforehand. And again, as a newly minted grill master, I made the mistake of overlooking my opponent, not having the appropriate fear. And those sliders, like I was supposed to flip them once. I couldn't get it right. I ended up flipping them like 3 or 4 times, kept opening up the Traeger, losing heat. And then at first they were too soft, and I was worried I was going to be feeding my wife raw beef, and then I cooked them a little bit too much, and it was a bit of a disaster. I would say like a 4 out of 10, the sliders last night. But you douse it in barbecue sauce, and you move on to the next one.
So it wasn't bad enough to have to order pizza that night.
No.
It actually was dinner. Okay.
We still ate them. Again, 4 out of 10. And my wife, she was courteous enough to say I was being a harsh grader on myself. But, hey, you know, I set high standards around here. I have perspective enough to know how well I can be as a grill master, and I failed. But guess what? You know what? Time for redemption, because we do have some chicken marinating in the fridge. We're firing up the Traeger. We're getting back on the horse today. I'm not giving up on my journey as a grill master, though I did disappoint last night. And before we get into the disappointment that will be the New York Jets, we're talking about which sports disappointment can you see coming from a mile away. And based on that new news we got out of Jets camp on 2 guys that are apparently missing, I mean, it's clear to say the Jets are going to be a disappointment. How about we start the show, though? Start theoretically speaking on a Tuesday on a good note, and it's always a good time when the Cats are on the prowl. That's right. The Florida Panthers last night getting the win over the Edmonton Oilers. They're up 2-0 in the Stanley Cup final now, taking the series back to Edmonton on Thursday for Game 3. And the unsung hero of the Cats win, Evan Rodriguez. How about we go to it, because the Panthers were tied at 1-1 going into the third period, and then it was the man, the myth, Evan Rodriguez breaking the tie.
Survives a check from Bouchard. They score! Evan Rodriguez again! A power play goal! And a 3-1.
That courtesy of ABC, Evan Rodriguez, 2 goals in the third period. The Panthers win it 4-1, and we're riding high. And C-Cat, again, they got the theoretically speaking bump. It wasn't that we were in the house this past night, but they still were riding the good juju, the good waves from our Saturday pregame show. So I'm glad that we can be aboard this Panthers bandwagon as they take this thing 2 wins away from the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, they weren't just beating them on the scoreboard. They were putting them into chokeholds and having them tap out, literally, not just figuratively looking at a scoreboard winning that game 4-1. No, they put the dude in a chokehold and had him tap.
They were brutal. They were absolutely brutal, and having them tap out was kind of part of the game plan, I guess, for those Florida Panthers. You got to love what they're doing, and also, we said it, you hold Connor McDavid under 1.5 points. That's a winning formula. They do it once again. We'll see what happens on Thursday again, Game 3, as they look to take that commanding 3-0 lead. But one guy in sports right now that looks like he's being held in a bit of a chokehold, a headlock against his own will, is the head coach of those New York Jets. Robert Saleh, this morning having to be the bearer of bad news, to go out to the media and announce the absences of two very key players for the New York Jets. If you don't remember, the Jets, they did go out and trade for Haason Reddick from the Philadelphia Eagles. Haason Reddick, a big sack master, 50.5 sacks over the past 4 years, one of the better guys off the edge. Haason Reddick, though, who is looking for a new contract, held out from mandatory camp this morning. Alongside of him in an unexcused absence is the 4-time MVP, the savior of the Jets franchise, Aaron Rodgers, who apparently had an event to go to instead of practicing with the Jets. But I talked about Saleh, a man that doesn't sound like he really has as much control over this franchise as he would need if he needs to lead them to a playoff run. How about we take a listen to the man, and you tell me what you hear from Saleh at the podium, because to me it sounds like a guy that, again, doesn't have full control over what he's able to say, his messaging, and maybe not even over his own team in the locker room.
You know, again, selfishly, I want our other guys here all the time, but, you know, when you get to these mandatory things, you make the best decision for yourself. And obviously, selfishly, want all of them here all the time, but he made a decision, and that's what he went with.
Was he here yesterday?
He was here yesterday, so he came through yesterday. He had his physical. He did the multimedia day, or the media day, and all that stuff. So he was, but like I said, he had something that was very important to him, and if it's important to him, it's important to us.
Will he be? He's not going to be back here at all.
No.
He's not going to be here at all. No. Something more important to him than practicing with this Jets team that has had a lot of different pieces added in, most importantly on that offensive line, the very unit that was a key cog and the reason why he only played 4 snaps last year. Aaron Rodgers making the main thing once again, which generally for Aaron Rodgers is whatever the hell he has on his plate. We don't know what the event was. I mean, I think that's the first question a lot of people have is what the hell was the random event that popped up on Aaron Rodgers' schedule that he couldn't knock out of the way for mandatory minicamp. But we do know what the expectations are around these New York Jets, and that's not just to make the playoffs, but likely for them to win a playoff game. And this just feels like another season where they're going to be starting off on the wrong foot, and it feels like another year where Jets fans are going to be massively disappointed, and I can see it from a mile away. I look at the Jets right now on Hard Rock Bet. Their win total for the 2024 season in a tough AFC East division is 9.5. But it feels like to me, especially with a guy like Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, especially with a team that is so veteran-laden and so old. Literally, they came into last year as the oldest team in the league per average. And all they did was add older guys this year, and Mike Williams and Haason Reddick, retaining Aaron Rodgers, Tyron Smith at left tackle. This feels like a team that should be having expectations of, like, I don't want to say Super Bowl or bust, but making the AFC Championship game. I mean, if you're going to hand over the keys to your franchise to a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, if he's going to be the kind of guy that can dictate whether or not he's showing up to mandatory camps as the leader of that team, shouldn't he come with a bit of expectations of winning something greater than just a playoff game, of just making the postseason, C-Cat?
Well, it depends on the organization. If you're going to Denver like Peyton Manning did after surgery, yeah, those expectations are high because that organization is used to that. For me, if you're going to the Jets, you're not expecting anything fantastic such as Super Bowl aspirations. You're expecting to be better than you were last year.
So I just remember when Aaron Rodgers joined the Jets last offseason, and he talked about how lonely the Lombardi Trophy was, and then all throughout the Hard Knocks, we got to hear about all the praises and worship of how this guy is going to come through and change the trajectory of the franchise, and we haven't seen it yet. And from the top down, it seemed like there's a little bit less cohesion. It seems like there's a little bit less direction. And it also feels like Aaron Rodgers has this franchise by the you-know-whats, and especially his own head coach. And most telling in all of this is when guys like Marcus Spears, an NFL analyst for ESPN on NFL Live, when they're asked about Aaron Rodgers' absence, and he's literally brought to laughter and then has this to say on NFL Live.
Well, the bottom line is, JD, it is excused because it's Aaron Rodgers. He can do what the hell he wants. He's been doing it since he got there, okay? This is his organization and his franchise.
See, stop it right there right quick, C-Cat. Can we? This is Aaron Rodgers' organization and his franchise. A 4-time MVP, a guy that has a Super Bowl championship under his belt, and a guy that came here with one objective on his mind, and that's to win a Super Bowl. So why, when I look at Hard Rock Bet, I see a 9.5 win total? Why, when I ask Jets fans what their expectations for the season is, it's maybe make the playoffs or win a playoff game? I get that the Jets are not a franchise that are historically contending. But if you're going to hand over the keys to a 40-year-old quarterback to be the leader of your franchise, I would expect you to have a higher win total than the damn Atlanta Falcons in 2024. What gives on that angle?
I guess so. If you are strapping your keys to a guy like Aaron Rodgers, where you're not going to get the length of a long Aaron Rodgers tenure, you're not going to see him in a Jets uniform in 2026, 2028. No, you're going to win now mode.
And that's the way that they've shaped their roster. They let go of a guy like Bryce Huff, who was a young pass rusher. They let go of guys like John Franklin Myers, who was a staple on that D-line, to go get a guy like Haason Reddick, who apparently Joe Douglas didn't know needs a new contract. Like, this Jets organization is as good as they're trying to hold themselves up to be now in this Aaron Rodgers tenure. It feels like they're shaping up fans for another massive disappointment. And the only thing that's getting in the way of fans maybe being disappointed in this Jets season is the bar keeps dropping on what their expectations are. I mean, far be it for me to tell you guys to be rooting for your team to make it to the Super Bowl or to win the AFC Championship or at least win your own damn division when you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers at quarterback who apparently has the keys to your franchise. But if they don't want as much for themselves, I can't be the one to push for it. The Jets, to me, looking like the team that's going to disappoint the most NFL fans, at least their own and their own fan base in 2024. We're going to have Mike Tannenbaum join us in a little bit to discuss what he thinks, what he makes of Haason Reddick and Aaron Rodgers' absences, as well as he has a bold proclamation I'm hearing about the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to have to get to that in a little bit. But in the NBA Finals, we are at a turning point, and one of those turning points starts with the fact that we have an update on the injury status of Kristaps Porzingis that I'm still fumbling to figure out, and we'll try to do this together. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care injury report for Game 3 of the NBA Finals.
My leg! My leg! I am not angry. I am in pain. My leg!
Time now for an injury report.
My head and torso! Wow, that's crazy. They hit me everywhere except my legs!
Presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
My leg!
Game 3 of the NBA Finals tomorrow night as the series shifts to Dallas, and the 7'3" big man for the Boston Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis, is now day-to-day. And stick with me here as I try to read off this injury. I mean, they're making up injuries for this dude, a guy who, again, his one sticking point, the one negative that comes with Kristaps, who's a great guy at 20-8, walking for you any single time and a great rim defender, is the fact that he's always injured. Yet again injured, and this one feels made up. Here it is. He suffered a torn medial retinaculum, allowing dislocation of the posterior tibialis in his left leg. Now, CCAT, I ain't never heard of nothing like that.
That sounds bad. It sounds like you need a degree to understand what that means.
It sounds like he needs a new left leg. And here's Kristaps Porzingis talking to the media earlier today on the uncertainty around his status as well as his hopefulness to be there for Game 3. But I'm going to let you guys know before he even talks, that dude ain't playing in Game 3. Here's Kristaps.
I don't know the specifics, but that's something I leave in the medical staff's hands to determine whether I can go or no. But from my side, like as I said, there's nothing's going to stop me unless I'm told not to or not allowed to play. So that's the only reason I will not be out there.
Okay, so you literally said nothing will stop him unless somebody says, hey, stop. Then he'll just stop. Kristaps ain't playing in Game 3. That's your Baptist Health Orthopedic Care injury report. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology. to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit BaptistHealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting BaptistHealth.net/ortho. And maybe Chris Stapps needs to hop on the phone now or hop on the web now and figure it out because, again, I don't know what the hell that is they saying is wrong with the dude's leg, but I know that the game is tomorrow night, and the Celtics have won without him in these playoffs, and they're probably going to have to do the same in Game 3 as they try to really put the nail in the coffin of those Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic dealing with some injuries of his own right. A lot of times when I'm out there trying to get, like, when was the last time that you've actually hit the golf course, C-Cat?
Man, I'm on the mend. I got a bad left shoulder, so it's been 2 weeks for me.
See, and that's the thing, man. Getting injured on the golf course has got to suck, but also the game of golf, it keeps you coming back because even when you hurt yourself a little bit and even when you have a couple of bad shots, you're always going to have that one good one, that one good hole, like the 18th hole that you beat me on last time we went out there and ended up walking away. Did you take my money that time or were we even?
No, I think
we were even.
I think we finished even.
Yeah.
It was a double or nothing, and I sunk the 8-foot putt to get nothing.
So you sunk the 8-foot putt, which was an amazing job by you, but you know what?
What?
I just got to get better with my approach game. And the one place that I work on my approach, as well as every other golf shot I have in my bag of tricks, is the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center because they build champions at Kaiser University. Train you like a pro, not just with their outdoor facilities, which has a putting green, has a driving range, has an area for you to really figure out, okay, this is if I really want to hit this shot, how much distance can I get on this one? All right, how can I make sure that I'm not hitting it with the foot of my club, but I'm hitting it right there centered on the club face? Those are the kind of things that I've been picking up at the Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. And, of course, as you see today, it's a very gloomy day. It's a rainy day. It's been storming. That's what it's like in the summertime. Well, thank you for the Kaiser Seahawks team and that program having an indoor facility, 2,000 square feet, state-of-the-art, 3 different hitting bays, ball flight technology, and video replay where you can go with your coach, my coach Pete, and work on your game. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center, KaiserGolfCenter.com. Train like a pro with the Seahawks. When we come back, Mike Tannenbaum. Mike Tannenbaum joins the show. I'm going to have to ask him again. Not only do I feel like the Jets are going to disappoint, I think they're going to end up being worse than the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, who a lot of people kind of were laughing at when they brought their quarterback room together of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I'll have to tap into the GM brain of Mike Tannenbaum when we come back, as well as we got to talk. We're going to bring in later on today in some theoreticals, Dean Thomas and Tina. It's a packed Tuesday on Theoretically Speaking. As C-Cat, I'm Theo Dorsey. We're on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.